It's just kind of a strange random word, but essentially that's the phrase. It's psycho bouldering, because it is kind of psychological. You know, has a very psychological side to it.
It's just stripping climbing down to the most basic thing.
We have Miguel Riera to thank for that. Some 35 plus years ago, he decided to start climbing on the sea cliffs on his native island of Majorca, and the name originated with Miguel. And whether it was thinking he was crazy for doing it or that just that type of climbing was crazy, that's where the Psico and Psicobloc comes from, and block is another way of referring to bouldering. And so it basically became this crazy form of bouldering.
Basically, it was a natural progression from the cliff climbing with ropes to why don't we just climb over the water? And it just was it was a very natural thing for them to do.
And I think for most people it's pretty similar. It's such a beautiful, free, pure form of climbing that, you know, the tricky thing is obviously there's not that many places to do it around the world because you need to have overhanging cliffs over deep water, and there's not that many places, but I think it is like it's a dream of everybody's to go to Majorca and climb over the water there. It really is as dreamy as it gets. So yeah, for me it still continues to be my favorite form of climbing.
You're not only out in the natural elements, but you have no inhibitions, you have no gear to worry about. You don't need a belayer, you don't need ropes, you just climb. And there's not even routes, you just climb, you go to a cliff and you see something that looks good and you climb up it, and that's it.
The idea, the genesis for this really goes back to 2007 when Boone Speed, Mike Call and I, we were on a climbing trip to Majorca and experiencing deep water soloing there for a film project. And as we were sitting around one day on the beach, enjoying everything that it has to offer, we started talking about how great it would be to do this at home. And Mike Call said he knew of a venue in our backyard where this could be accomplished. He was a cameraman here for the 2002 Winter Olympics, discovered the pool in the Olympic Park, and the idea was hatched. And it took us quite a few years to figure out how to get it done. We had to figure out who was crazy enough to build us a 52-foot temporary wall and convince an Olympic park to allow us to host an event in their venue.
There's only been a few deepwater solo comps worldwide. I know there's one in Bilbao, one of the Psico comps, has been running for a couple years now. There was recently a Red Bull comp called Red Bull Creepers that happened in Spain. And other than that, it's really just been this event that's really pushed, I think, the standard for it forward. I think this is the best run event and best, I guess, best captured event out of all the Psico comp. This is a lot different than World Cup climbing. There's a lot more fear involved. You're climbing 55 feet above the water. It's pretty scary. Also, World Cup climbing is based more purely on difficulty, and this is going to be a little bit more based off of speed and how well you're able to you got to climb. You're in a dual format, so you're trying to climb as quickly as you can based on the competitor next to you to move forward in your bracket. So the scoring's a lot different than a World Cup event or a world competition event. Just the whole experience of it's a lot different. We're also going to get to try out the finals route before we even we compete on it, and that changes the game a lot as well. It's just a lot different than other types of competitions out there, but a lot better, I think. It's a lot more exciting to compete in.
It's like mixing all of these things into this one activity that, you know, these things don't usually get mixed, so that's why it's really unique.
Without Chris's vision, these events wouldn't be happening either, and the partnership between Waltopia, Momentum, Chris Sharma, and the Olympic Park is what it took to make this event happen. And Chris is such a great ambassador of the sport. It's what's helped us, enabled us to be able to have such a strong and competitive field of climbers to be here and to want to participate.
For me, the very special is the people here in America understand very quickly this is a good idea and say do it. Why not? We're looking for a swimming pool and we're looking for the system to do that, and we are here 2 years. This is the second year because, I think in America it's very natural to do stories like this one, no? But I think for that it's an American dream for me.